First of all, you don't know me.
We're all about that high school drama girl, all about them high school queens. We'll take you for a ride in our comic girl, cheering for the right team. Drama queens, smart girl, rough girl, fashion but you're tough girl. You could sit with us, girl. Drama queens, drama queens, drama queens, drama queens, drama queens.
Q&A, it's time for Q&A. We need a jingle.
Some questions. I know. What a funny thing for us to be trying to figure out what the jingle is without our resident musician today.
Yeah, it's her assignment.
I know.
We want a Q&A song.
Joy's taking Maria to camp, so she's not here today. But as a former camper and permanent forever in my heart camp counselor, I love camp so much. She was so apologetic about missing this Q&A, and I was like, go to camp for all of us.
Yeah. No one loves camp more than you do. You and a clipboard and activities and an agenda.
And a whistle.
Oh, girl. A visor.
It's a dream life for me, really. But I am excited about today because we got real good questions today. These make me feel excited.
You're good because you look at them beforehand. I get here and I see them as we go and I'm like, oh, I should have thought about this.
I mean, honestly, I just read them while we were getting our recordings going. I haven't done that.
Okay, I feel better.
Yeah, no, I didn't look at these in advance. I like to be spontaneously inspired, but while we figured out, the technical side of this job we do, I did peruse and I like them.
It's responsible of you to admit that, babe.
Thank you. Yeah, it's actually really funny because, I don't know, as an adult, learning that not everyone is honest to a fault. I'm like, what's that like to just hold things back? That's interesting.
Imagine if you're just like, yes, well, I am the responsible one of the two of us.
And what was really funny was a friend of mine was like, well, you got diagnosed with adult ADHD, which makes your whole childhood make sense. But a lot of women who have that are also gently autistic. Do you think maybe that's why you have such a truth complex? And I was like, haven't examined that with my therapist quite enough yet. But I do have a lot of interesting things I do to self-soothe. So maybe, I don't know. I'm open.
They didn't check us out. They just put us at the bad kid desk when we were little.
They told us we were misbehaving.
Yeah, no, we weren't. All right. We have a question here from Jason. I wonder if he's naughty like we are. Jason, many years after the show ended, he says, do you think you could jump back into your character if you had to shoot an episode next month? If so, how easy or hard would it be? And what do you think you would have to do to prepare for it? Jason, that's an amazing question.
This is such a good question.
I mean, I could go to work tomorrow.
I think I could too.
Yeah. And I haven't acted in a long time. But Peyton is just I don't know. Those are our girls. Peyton and Brooke are our girls.
Yeah. I think that I could go to work tomorrow very easily. And then part of me goes, but wait, would I feel scared if I didn't prepare? I feel like Brooke and Peyton are in us so much that we could snap right back in, but it's also really been a long time. So suddenly I'm going, well, maybe there's 3 or 4 episodes from the more recent years, or I guess the latter years in the show, that I would want to just rewatch just to be like, hold on, let me hear it. Let me hear the cadence of not just my voice, but yours and Daphne's, and you know what I mean?
Yeah. Wait, which 3 episodes would you watch? What are your prep episodes?
Gosh, I don't know. I feel like I would probably want to rewatch your wedding episode. Okay. I think I would want to rewatch, I don't know what episode it is. This is so silly, but there's one from season 7 that I remember Lisa and I being so fun in, and Austin and I had really sweet stuff. And something happens at the store. I just remember I had this cute little black and tan corset and a pencil skirt. I loved my outfit that day. And I'm like, I'd want to watch that episode. I think that one was good. And I'd probably want to watch the end of season 8.
Yeah.
I don't know. Now it's getting fuzzy because I haven't actually seen these yet. So I'm not sure if I'm remembering correctly.
No, that's important. I mean, the prep matters. I think I don't know. I don't love acting anymore, but I love Peyton. And I think the idea of revisiting her and Brooke and everyone else is very attractive to me.
Yeah.
That feels like it's not work. It feels like it's like a cool hang.
Yeah. It's weird because had you asked me that question before we started this podcast, I'd be like, I'm not doing that.
I don't know.
But it is so interesting how doing this show has made me fall back in love, or like maybe really truly in love for the first time with our show. Yeah. And now I'm like, oh my God, I want to do an episode of our show from this feeling.
Yeah, same. From this centered space.
Yeah, I just feel so proud. I feel so much ownership of it. I feel like we made something really special. And I'm like, oh, it'd be so cool to like, parallel universe and make an episode from this place and see how it felt.
And now that we've gotten to say out loud how much of the characters were based on us, whether it was the good stuff or the trauma, it feels like now I can say, I really fucking like Peyton Sawyer. I really like Brooke Davis. I really like all the characters on our show. I like those people. So
I do too.
Anytime you get a script for something, there's so many variables. And it's scary because you don't know what other actors are going to get cast. You don't know if the producers are dicks. You don't know if the editor is going to be good or bad and how the end result will look. You'd have no control over all of that. But what I can say is I think there's enough in the world of Tree Hill that I can feel pretty safe going back and having like a great time. What happens if we just go back to Wilmington tomorrow? And just show up at Screen Gems. Well, say, hey guys, we're here.
You know what we should do? Remember during the pandemic, all sorts of people started doing those live table reads of like classic movies for charity. Yes. We should go to Thalian Hall and like do a live theater night and like do a table read performance of one of our favorite episodes.
Yeah, I'd even read some fan fiction.
Oh my God.
Because they've got like wild ideas.
Okay.
Wild. Okay, fine. Great, Jason. Yes, we'll be back at work shortly. Thank you so much for asking.
Thank you. Okay, Tawny wants to know if you could assign a song to each of your characters to describe them, what would it be and why? Example, to me, Peyton is the song Absolutely Story of a Girl by 9 Days.
Really? Is it awful that I don't know that song?
This is the story of a girl.
Oh my God. Never mind, I do know that song.
If she cried a river and drowned the whole world, that feels right for Peyton, actually. It's a really good call.
Are you making fun of me? What's your song? What's your Brooke Davis song?
I don't have any idea why this just came to mind, but We Are Family. Maybe because that's just like my song for us. I don't know.
Yeah, I got all my sisters with me.
Yeah, that feels really fun. I guess subconsciously that comes up for me because we talk so much about how it's actually the female friendships that are the greatest love story of our show. And I love that so much. And I love redefining like the great love story of your life. And yeah, maybe that's why my subconscious is like, your family.
I'm into that. I love it. So I listened to the same song the whole time I was there. It was Mad World, Tears for Fears, because it was from the Donnie Darko soundtrack, right? And there was something so Donnie Darko about Peyton Sawyer, just like nothing makes sense, everything's so awful. That was kind of my mantra song. Yeah. And I love that song. The message in it is so dark, but it's so catchy, which is Peyton, darkness, but make it catchy.
I like that a lot.
Fantastic. 9 Days sings that song, huh? All right, well.
I guess.
I'm learning shit every day.
Unless I'm singing the wrong song to you.
Courtney wants to know, you have mentioned a couple times about working 18-hour days. Just wondering how you can do that and function okay the next day. How do you remember lines and not look half dead when you've only had 4 to 5 hours of sleep? Or do they give you a day off after a long day?
No,
Courtney.
they don't.
No.
They don't.
I mean, sometimes if you work a solid chunk of like 3 long days in a row, they'll have shot all your stuff out, but
not usually, because even when you get a day off, you have to come in for like fittings and
an
all the
ADR.
stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, you got to like go do all the dialogue fixes and everything else for
or learn a
sound.
cheerleading dance.
So you're usually working even if you have a quote unquote day off.
Yeah.
So the thing is, and this is why you hear people talk about how, crazy the hours are, but also how hard it is to have any sort of like routine or life doing this job. Because let's say, like we would do on season 1, we would shoot in the gym at the high school on Sundays because we had to be there when the kids weren't actually there. So we'd usually go to work on Sunday around 4 a.m. So we'd be ready by 6 a.m. And then you could shoot, those were usually 18-hour days.
Because we knew we only had the gym for that one day. So you had to get everything.
So if you went from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. is 12 hours. And then you'd go...
There's always overtime and travel time.
Yeah, you'd go another 6 hours. So you'd go to midnight. They wouldn't check your travel time or your hair and makeup time. But if we'd shoot until midnight, that meant that I think the earliest we could be back at work the next day was like crew and stuff is like 8 a.m. for setup. So let's say then they say that your call time is 10 a.m. for shooting. That means you're going to shoot until at least 10 p.m. or midnight that next day. So what happens is every day gets later and later. So that's why when you hear us talk about, especially in season 1, that term Fraturday, when you shoot from like a Friday into a Saturday morning, our Saturdays were actually Fridays. So we'd shoot from like 6 p.m. on Thursday night to 6 a.m. on Friday. And then we'd have to be back at work at 4 a.m. on Sunday. So they give you a little bit of time. They can't bring you into work, 4 or 5 hours later. That's actually against the law. But what it means is because they have to turn you around, you go later and later every single day. So you go from like the crack of dawn shift to the graveyard shift every week and then back, which is why none of us have great memories. Everyone's like, I don't remember that. And it's like, yeah, of course you don't, because you weren't really sleeping.
No, we were just going through the motions. I will say it's not always an 18-hour day, but the shortest day you will ever have on a film set is 12 hours. You will never work less than 12 hours. Mm-hmm. And I didn't realize until I, left the world of TV that other people are like grossed out by that. They're like, what, 12-hour day? What? And it wasn't until Gus and I just started talking about this because he pulled a 12-hour day the other day and was still had more to do. And I was like, dude, you're pulling film hours. And he was like, yeah, I know. I'm in prep right now for when I become an actor. Like, I just got to work on my endurance right now. I was like, or you could just be 14.
Or you don't have to do that, baby. Yeah, it's tricky. And I think it's also really tricky because for the girls, it's harder because your hair and makeup calls are so much longer.
Oh my God.
They have to match your hair every single day. So you have to get a blowout every single morning. So you are usually a 2-hour pre-call. So they have time to get you in one, hair chair for 45 minutes and the makeup chair for 45 minutes. And then you can go and get changed and get wired and, make sure you've eaten something before you get on set because there's not time to eat on set.
And you're not supposed to eat in your wardrobe.
You're sure not. Because if you ruin it, you screw up everybody else's day. And so like a 12-hour day for set is never shorter than a 14-hour day for us, which is, part of why I think people really can struggle, to feel like they can maintain their life and relationships when they're working on something like this, because you just live at work.
We just really sold it, didn't we? We made it sound so fun.
I know. God, isn't that terrible? But the thing is, I like to be honest with people because people
I know.
really, like when people come to set or people start doing this job, a lot of people have like a culture shock and they don't handle it well. So I don't know. I don't mean to like crush your dreams, but I do want to tell you the truth.
Yeah.
See, this might be that spicy brain thing I was talking about earlier where I'm like, I can't lie. I'm sorry. Ooh.
I love it about you. You know, there's some kid out there that was just debating whether or not they wanted to go to college and study like acting for film. And now they know there are just some consequences involved.
Yeah, if you want to have a 9 to 5, do something else. But if you still love it, you can come play in the circus with us.
Here we are.
Here we are. Okay, speaking of what we do on these crazy days on set, Hannah says, what activities did you guys like to do in between takes? I'm an actress here in Sweden, so I know how long the wait can sometimes be. It's easier to keep busy on your phone, etc. But what did you do back then?
Oh, the dark ages.
Yeah, because we weren't doom scrolling all day.
That's hilarious.
It is hilarious. I mean, I will say, like,
We had sidekicks.
yeah, we sure did. Hilarie and I loved those. I don't know. I don't feel like we would have that much downtime unless we were doing like a big, a gym or a concert or something where there was so much time to do like different setups and turnarounds. We were a well-oiled machine, man. We hustled through things. I think, I don't know, we read a lot of books.
We
on
read
set,
a lot.
didn't we?
A lot.
Yeah.
We read, we slept. I mean, I would go back to my trailer and sleep for 15 minutes if I could. I was so tired all the time because
Yeah.
I also had a really active social life outside of work because I was so like traumatized at work that I made friends with so
Yeah.
many other people in Wilmington. So I would just like live to go be with them in my off hours. But then that meant I wasn't sleeping.
Yeah, we really did kind of burn the candle at both ends there.
God, what a time to be alive. Our 20s were incredible.
We were wild. We were so fun. Yeah, I mean, it was a lot of reading. I think, like, honestly, that is part of where I got so into my practice of reading so much news because it started to really frustrate me as somebody who does love to read. Like the in and out in a book where you get through 3 to 8 pages and then they're ready for you again started to get so frustrating to me that I started like taking down articles and always carrying like the paper or whatever. So I think that's part of where my obsession with the news came from, because it almost felt easier for me to go article by article in between setups.
Makes sense.
So
Yeah.
who was knitting on our set?
Well, Joy and I knit.
Yeah,
I was crocheting and knitting a lot.
but you were crocheting a lot. I feel like, yeah, you were knitting too, weren't you?
I was knitting in season 1, and then I was like, this is dumb. I'm just going to crochet because now I only have one little hook to worry about instead of 2 knitting needles that I consistently lose.
Yeah.
And it was easier. I didn't have to think as much because when you knit, you like knit a row, you purl a row, you whatever, back and forth. You have to remember the pattern.
And that's too much to keep track of when you're constantly getting interrupted. Yeah. I was always like, wow, look at them making stuff that they can hold. I now know a bunch of random facts about the economic crash in Iceland in the 90s. Like, what am I doing?
Hey, that's valuable too.
Yeah, somewhere. When I go on Jeopardy someday,
Yeah.
that'll be
great. Oh my God,
great.
have you done Celebrity Jeopardy?
I haven't, but I may or may not have just been asked to.
What? Oh, I'm going to flip out.
So we'll see.
Are you allowed to have a cheerleading section?
I will put it in my rider. Do we get those? Or are those
I've got
just for
pom-poms.
musicians?
No, I've got pom-poms. I'm coming. All right, Samantha wants to know, is there anything that your character wore or used in the show that belonged to you in real life?
Mm-hmm.
Give it.
I'll give you mine. You'll love this because we love Jessie and Edge Verge so much.
Oh, yeah.
When we were doing the series finale, I went in and got one of her North Carolina silhouette necklaces with the enamel on it. And I wore it in the episode.
Cool.
And I bought it and was so excited about it ahead of time. And I was like, I really, really want to wear this. Like, I always want the image of this place on me for the end of this job. And in that episode, Austin's directing a project. Julian's like making a TV show. And so he asked Carol, our wardrobe supervisor, to have that exact same cutout of the state embroidered on his hat. And so Julian's director's hat has it on it too.
Cute.
So it like that necklace really gave us like an iconography for the last episode. And I still have it. I have it like up. It just hangs on like a little thing in my closet. I love it.
I love that.
Yeah.
That's really cute.
It's really sweet.
I had all of Peyton's cowboy boots. Those are all mine.
Mm-hmm.
And then in season 5, there's some very holy jeans. There's some, it's 5 into 6. There's some jeans that are just torn to shit, and those are personal jeans.
Yeah, girl.
Because like jeans that someone else buys you are not the same as the jeans that you buy yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And I loved our costume designer so much. And she just, anytime I would wear something to work, Carol would be like, hey, can we just have that? Let's just do this.
Let's put you in that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I love that.
So, yeah, all the roughneck shit was mine. I think we have time for one last question, baby.
I do too. This is interesting. Anne asks, I've noticed that the music seemed to change after Peyton and Lucas left Tree Hill. Did Hilarie have any input as to the type of music Peyton listened to and played in her scenes? Or did they just bring in a different music coordinator?
Did it change?
I don't know. Well, it's actually really interesting. I've never thought about it in that way because I think the music industry in general was going through a shift.
Yeah.
In 2009, like sounds were changing, things were shifting. But I don't know. I mean, I assumed we still had the same team putting our music together.
But what you're saying is that it was cooler when I was there.
Well, obviously, much. Always. But yeah, I don't know if maybe he decided I don't know.
Maybe he wasn't spending money on it anymore. You know what I mean? Like we were definitely spending money on it when I was there. And I know that money was like a big conversation for all the different departments. Our writers have spoken about it. You know, we've spoken about it. And so anytime you cut money from one department and it goes into someone else's pocket, you know, who knows? But it costs money to have great music on a show. And we were so lucky working with Warner Brothers because they had a record label that we could always just kind of tap into. So I can't speak for what happened after I left, but I do know that being someplace like Warner Brothers and having access to great artists was a part of the job that I particularly enjoyed. Like it was cool to be a VJ and then essentially just get to be a VJ on our show.
Yeah. Yeah, that was amazing. Well, clearly your musical taste was missed.
Babe,
not just by
thanks.
me, but by Anne and everyone else.
Well, Anne, I appreciate you. I appreciate all of these questions. They were very good questions.
These are
this
good
week.
questions.
Yeah. Into it. So you guys join us next week. As always, Drama Queens, we're going to bring you some drama and some flavor and hopefully some sick tunes. We'll think of some great tunes for you next week.
I love it. Thanks, y'all.
Bye. Hey, thanks for listening.
Don't forget to leave us a review. You can also follow us on Instagram at Drama Queens OTH.
Or email us at dramaqueens@iHeartRadio.com. See you next time.
We're all about that high school drama girl, all about them high school queens. We'll take you for a ride in our comic girl, cheering for the right